So we have everyone joined in. Welcome, Per, Annette, Adrian, Malcolm, and Andrew. Great that you could join us for the idea stage startups pitching evaluation. We can go with a quick introductions round from everyone. So if we start with you, Adrian, 1 minute to you. Tell us who you are, what are you working with at Inventure, and how you support startup founders. 1 minute each.
Sure. No, thanks. First of all, thanks for having me. So I'm part of the investment team in Stockholm for Inventure. I have a background from being an early employee at Antler, which I believe I saw someone in the chat here joining Antler as well. That's fantastic. So I was an early employee there, was part of launching Antler in the Nordics, in the US and in East Africa. So background from kind of early stage operations and expansion. And now I'm in the investment team in Stockholm for Inventure, and Inventure is a Finnish and Swedish early stage venture fund investing from the pre-seed to Series A stage in the Nordics and the Baltics. And very short on kind of how we differentiate ourselves. We have an in-house operational team helping our portfolio companies with talent and expansion. And that's what we've identified are the key levers to help our portfolio companies. We just closed our fourth 150 million euro fund vehicle, so we're early in the deployment cycle and super excited to meet new companies. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Adrian. Great news about the fourth fund closure, and it's moving closer to early stage. So it's great to know. Andrew, let's hear from you.
Yeah, I'm here in Stockholm as well. I'm a Stockholm-based consultant, and I spend most of my time speaking and teaching other people to speak or to pitch or to present in some way or another. And I work with startups, with corporates, with government, with academia, and at all levels from kind of student up to cabinet minister. Though I'm probably best known for a pro bono role, that as being the head of the curation team at TEDx Stockholm, where I help choose all the speakers, and I've been coaching myself since 2015. And also for helping the United Nations, again pro bono, to start a refugee speaker program this year. And I've been working with startups since I first went to a startup weekend in 2014, and I've worked with all of the various hackathons, the schools like Stockholm School of Entrepreneurship, the various incubator programs, and I also advise some startups individually one-to-one.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Great background in so many different spaces. Andrew is also one of the very active mentors in FI Founded Institute Nordics. We're very thankful to you for that role. Annette, let's hear from you.
Good to be here. Thank you to be invited. So I'm an early stage tech investor, been investing in this space for more than 30 years. At this particular moment, I'm representing Butterfly Ventures, and this is an early stage tech investor deep tech fund. We're just closed our fourth fund, which is SFDR, which is a sustainable regulatory fund, in Article 8. We don't have 1.5, we have 1 billion Swedish krona. So we are quite excited about that. And we are actually one of the first ones that have a geared fund just towards sustainable innovation and development in deep tech. So it's very, very interesting for me to look into ventures that has an aptitude to clean up really dirty industries and fix new ways of using technology in a digitalization kind of way, but also to clean up industries that are not necessarily doing the things that they should, because we only have one planet and we should stay on planet A, which is Earth.
Thank you so much, Annette. Annette is very humble. She's all over the scene with so many different hats she wears. And one of those is We Don't Have Time. We recently interviewed her for that startup, which is a great activist level startup, because activism is needed when you're building or when you're moving a problem which is so deeply entrenched. Thank you, Annette, for being here. Malcolm.
Hi, everybody. Malcolm Larri here. Call myself a pitch coach and Stockholm's happiest immigrant. So originally from Sydney, Australia, moved here 10 years ago. I work I work in the startup community as a pitch coach, working with around 100 startups a year at the moment, raising tens of millions, helping them raise tens of millions in investments. It's very fun, very satisfying work. Get to work with Antler, Digital Well, Founders Institute, number of different groups. So I'm really, really blessed there. And also working as a leadership and culture consultant. So working with, Ericsson and, H&M and all these big companies on their leadership and culture as well as hosting conferences, including TEDx, where I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Andrew Hennigan, and also on the panel today with an old colleague, so to speak, with Jens. So really blessed to be here, and it's really an honor to work with everybody. I'm so happy.
Thank you so much, Malcolm. And we love your pitching sessions. The way you simplify the pitch is something which, even if you become Klarna, you still need to pitch. Yeah. So that's the biggest challenge for a startup, and you simplify those in your interesting workshop, startups.
Life's the pitch.
Yeah. Brilliant. Per, over to you.
Yes, hi everybody. I'm Per Björklund in Stockholm, and thank you so much, Naimul, for inviting me. I look forward to this. I work full-time as an angel investor in tech. The more tech, the better. I advise startups, and I'm on the board of a number of companies as well. My background is from big multinational companies where I've been working a bit, and then as a VC. Then after that, I started my own company that I exited and sold in 2018. And since then, I work like this. I also have a little side gig, and that is that I train students from National University of Singapore, a very good university, and I teach them in entrepreneurship practicum. And now and then I also visit my old schools, Stockholm School of Economics and KTH, doing guest lectures there. So I look forward to hearing and seeing you all.
Very varied background, and great that you are involved in startup ecosystem in so many different ways. Like, I love the diversity of experiences that we have right now, from VC space to angel investing to being on startup boards to pitching to public speaking. Everything is here, and that's what I think when you are at a very early idea stage, or when you're building up your startup, all these things are crucial for you to be familiar with, because eventually you're going to be raising money. So we'll start with if production team could bring in the startups in the loop as well. In the meantime, I have a very quick question. If anybody can just offer a reflection on that, what do you think is a startup's biggest challenge at the first stage, when they are at a very early stage of their development? What is their biggest challenge?
They're never working together with the customer. They're never doing that. They find these brilliant ideas, and it's in their head, and they work on it in the chamber with enthusiasm, and then they forget that there's someone who's going to pay for it. So they actually have a customer who's paying for the development. I would say over 80% work without a customer in mind. They think of it as a dream, but not necessarily asking them if they would pay for it. So I think that's the biggest challenge that all the ventures has that we look at. And then second would be cap table, that they have too many people on their cap table in the end, because they have small investors that are taking lots of percentage from them.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you so much. We have startups joining in now. Hi, Natasha. Thank you. You could join us. Emma is here, and we have more joining in as well. We'll just check. I'll just check with my production team.
Wonderful. While you're checking, Naimul, I'll tell you what I think is the #1 problem they have.
Okay.
Startups don't know what their value proposition is. They're so focused on a product or a benefit or a feature. And it's like, why do you exist? What are you actually giving? And so, when we do my pitch workshops and I do pitch coaching, the first thing is we've got to nail down the value proposition, because that's what you need to be pitching. So that's what I would say. It's almost, I would say 90% of companies can't tell me their value proposition, and when they do, it's wrong. So
right. Okay. Well, I think it's also like, if you know your pitch or your value proposition, you also have your marketing plan in front of you, knowing exactly what you're going to sell and market and so forth. So that becomes sort of a hand-in-hand kind of situation.
Absolutely, yeah.
Brilliant. We have our startup founders here. So While the team brings them in, why don't we say a quick hi? So for anyone, my question would be, I'll go one by one. So Natasha, if we begin with you, where are you joining from and how do you feel today?
Hi, I'm from Finland, and I'm very excited, but also overwhelmed because I've never done it this way. So I'm very excited to see what today holds for us. So thank you so much for allowing us to join this wonderful opportunity, and it's lovely meeting everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Natasha. But there's always a first time because pitching can go so many ways. You can meet somebody in elevator, or you could be on a demo day. You need to adapt. So great that you could join us and take this step. Emma.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm based in Denmark. I originally come from Uganda. It is a great opportunity to be here with you all, and I'm looking forward to pitching, which I've already done new way, and responding to your questions and getting feedback from you. I believe we are doing a great job. Our idea will make a change in this world. That's what I think. And I'm looking forward for this event. Thank you so much, and nice meeting you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Arya, where are you joining from? How do you feel today?
Hello, here's Arja Tiili from Finland, Helsinki, and I am joining from here, from my home. And my background is in dance art. So I've been doing dance art for 31 years, and I'm managing my own dance company, Arja Tiili Dance Company, where I was creating with my collaborational partners this Break the Fight, Break Dance Against School Bullying project that I then changed into social enterprise 2020, and so I'm with that project here, and we would like to now try with the customers a pilot so we can launch a purchased service platform for the customers.
Thank you, Adya. Annabel, where are you joining from? How do you feel today? Quick.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Annabel from London. I'm the co-founder of Womco. Womco is a femtech startup, and we're revolutionizing women's health through science-based, personalized nutrition. So we won an accelerator last year, and then we built our product over the summer. And now, as we speak, we are running our beta to achieve product market fit, and then we will launch officially in the UK in January.
Okay, thank you. Fabrice.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. My name is Fabrice Marie. I am French. I live in London. I'm a former professional tennis player, now coach, and I will be pitching about my project called the Dome Sweden, which is a sports and events arena, which is going to have a big impact on the big challenges that Stockholm is facing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us, Marco.
Pleasure.
Morning, everyone. My name is Marco. I'm joining from Barcelona, though I'm originally Italian. Very excited to be here and to introduce you to Hympact, which is a platform for enterprises in the topic of sustainability. And very excited to connect and listen to the other great founders' speech. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Marco. Henrik, and then Zakariae.
Hi, everyone. I'm Henrik. I'm joining from Estonia, and I'm a little bit nervous, but also really happy to get some feedback from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Henrik. Zakariae.
Hello, everyone. I am Zakariae. I'm currently in Sweden, but I'm originally from Morocco. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Being nervous, I think, is normal, Henrik, because I'm feeling it too. But I'm excited to hear what everyone else has to say. Thanks for having me here.
Perfect. Brilliant. Everybody could join us. So it's 11:11 right now. We have a lag in the system right now in terms of time. We are like 15 minutes behind schedule. So we'll do it like this. We'll give 6 minutes, around 6 minutes per startup. We'll go, we have video pitches. We receive video pitches from startups. We'll queue it up for the audience so everybody can listen to it. After the video pitch, the evaluators, the jury, or the panel, we have esteemed panel here, will have 3 minutes max to give very concrete feedback. No crossover questions, I would say. That'll save us time. And then if there are any crossover questions, you can ask them, but founders do not need to respond. And then the last 1 or 2 minutes, founders can take to round off the discussion on their startup. So as you said, it's a pitch feedback session. It's a session for us to interact with each other. So we start with Per, you have a question.
Yeah, just to save time for all of us, I'd suggest that when it comes to the last part for each case, the answering questions, regard all our questions as rhetoric questions. You don't need to answer them. If there is any particular question you think is very relevant and you like to answer it, do that. But note our questions down and bring them with you instead. Okay?
Brilliant. Great point, Per. And I'll share the first video now. We start with you, Natasha.
Did you know that people in Finland do not go to court for disputes under 700 euro? Currently, the most effective way to resolve legal disputes is by going to court. But in the most recent report from the World Justice Project in Finland, 32% said that the court process was unfair, irrespective of the outcome. 29% felt that the process was expensive, and 57% felt that it was slow, as the average time is 13 months. Hi, I'm Natasha, the co-founder of Justice 4.0. Justice 4.0 is a digital solution that provides society a faster, more efficient, and cost-effective solution compared to the traditional court process. We are the digital gateway for online court services. By paying a one-stop case fee of 75 euros, our users can access a one-stop solution that includes open or defend their case with the help of our guidance bot, Larri Justice, track case status in real time, and attend a court hearing from anywhere. Now, how do our stakeholders benefit? Great question. As Justice 4.0 is a digital solution, it reduces workloads for judges, reduces expenses for government, i.e. legal aid and other, and society can enjoy a more efficient way of resolving legal disputes in 15 days. My co-founder Frederick and I have managed to move our project as far as we possibly can, and to continue we need to raise funding in the sum of 500,000 euros to help us develop our MVP, as well as find strategic alliances to help us influence the relevant government stakeholders to move our idea forward. Thank you so much, and your questions are welcomed.
Thank you, Natasha. Great presentation. Yes, Per, we start with you.
Yes, thank you so much. I really love your idea. I agree on the need and that there is a potential here. To me, it's not totally clear whether this is a tool for or replacement for today's courts. If it's a replacement, then of course a crucial question will be, will this be accepted by all parties and by society as an alternative? If it's a tool, which I would assume, then still there will be a very important issue, which is the procedural legal framework for courts. There is significant legalities around that. How do you get through that? How will you cope with that? That is my main question. But I really love your idea.
Thank you so much, Malcolm.
Yeah, thank you for a great pitch. And I just wanted to reiterate some of the things that Per said, but this is something for everybody to think about. Think about your title slide. Think about your opening slide. On your opening slide, you have your company name, and underneath it, tell the audience what you're going to tell them. Meaning, instead of having, you know, your company name and making the world a better place or some nice little tagline like that, tell them the difference, the change you're making. So revolutionizing the court process for the average person, or democratizing, or, you know, making this making the legal process friction-free, something like that. Tell the audience, set a frame up, because if you do that at the beginning of your pitch, you're actually giving people a framework to understand everything you say about it. This is really important, especially on these really quick pitches where you're giving people a lot of information really, really quickly.
Thank you, Malcolm. Adrian.
Yeah, no, just following on Malcolm's point there. So I think when you pitch this to investors and when you send this potential deck to an investor, you want to sharpen that first sentence even more, i.e., vertical SaaS for vertical software for the legal profession or the kind of software interface to the court system. So I immediately understand, oh, this is what we're doing. I think that's a great point, which Malcolm made there, which is a bit adjustable for when sending to investors. Thanks.
Great point, Andrew. Andrew.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I thought it was lean, focused, effective with very few words, which is great. And I liked also the mock-ups. I think that's a really good way of showing what you're doing. It makes a lot quicker than explaining a lot of stuff with words. And I think that what you do is also clearer, but it could be maybe said a little bit sooner. And I've just one suggestion for improvement, and that is that I could hear a little bit of echo, and that's very easy to take away. You just bring the microphone closer to your mouth. Either a table microphone or a headset or even just a phone microphone works fine, just to get rid of that little echo, and it makes it sound more professional.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Annette, very quick feedback from you.
All right. So if you are pitching to an investor, you need to make sure that you state how big the market is and how much money I can actually make on this deal. So I know if there is an advantage for me to enter and how I will actually be able to exit. You need to have in your head a way of understanding who the buyer of your company would be. So there is working towards someone who is selling it. First initial thought, as now I'm representing a venture capitalist, which has a lot of other things that we need to think of, is to understand, and the first thing is like the court system, will they actually agree on this?
Perfect. Thank you so much, Annette. Any points you'd like to add, Natasha, and then we move to the next page.
Thank you for all the feedback. It's always great to get feedback because, we can only improve ourselves going forward. And, this kind of feedback really helps us move forward as we are entering the stage of raising funding for our startup. Just a quick comment is that currently the Nordic Council has had a meeting earlier this year where they were discussing the digitalization of the court system. And one of the very positive countries that are very open to accepting a solution like ours is Iceland. So from that perspective, we obviously would like to push towards that direction. So there is some movement in this industry. And obviously for our project, so that just kind of clears up the question on the legal framework and legalities that goes with our project. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Natasha. We'll move to Hympact with Marco now. Thank you so much. Let's see if I can share my screen again. Video share and then.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Hympact, a data-driven platform for climate communication. As of today, our society is facing one of the biggest challenges we have ever faced, which is climate change. And with a global population of 8 billion people, we must ensure we shift consumer behavior towards more sustainable practices. Latest surveys says that up to 70% of European consumers will already pay an extra for more sustainable products and services, while more sustainable business models can ensure a brand value increase of up to 20%. So climate communication is essential to ensure this transition. One of the biggest risks of climate communication is greenwashing, that defines as misleading communication, wrong use of labels, or hidden trade-offs in sustainable initiatives. That's where we bring in our solution based on artificial intelligence that help companies simplify the process of measuring the environmental impact of their operation and that effectively communicate to their customers based on their consumption what's the impact of those purchases. Moreover, we provide high-level insights for decision makers. So welcome to Hympact, the first platform that measures the impact from the final user perspective, so you can finally tell your customers what's the impact of their purchases. While the global market is huge, we focus on the South European market where we forecast a 3-year revenue of 3.2 million. We are now raising our pre-seed round of 250K, mostly dedicated to product development, while we're already operating as a consulting service. So this is our amazing team where together we provide expertise and experience in different fields such as circularity, sustainability, supply chains, financing, and artificial intelligence. Thank you for listening, and are you ready to make an impact with us?
Thank you so much, Marco. Yes, who would like to go first with the feedback?
Yeah, I can jump in with a quick comment. Again, just I'm going to pick on, when I'm giving comments, I'm going to try and give comments that I think can be generalized to a lot of different pitches. But with this one, I think when you get to a team slide, don't just write team, write something like 25 years or 50 years of experience in tech entrepreneurship with 2 successful exits. Talk about your team's value in the title of the slide, rather than just use that just to show people that we don't know, we don't have time to see it. So really tell us why this team is valuable and why you're the people solving the problem. There has to be some connection between the problem and your expertise. So make sure you make that clear, please.
Thank you, Malcolm. Adrian.
Yeah, thanks. I think when we talk about these kind of ESG accounting software tools, it's a fairly saturated space. When pitching this to investors and when sending a pitch deck, I would include a competitive slide, because if you don't, I might immediately think that you're not aware of your competitive landscape, and I would kind of it would give you a disadvantage. So I would do that and make sure you bring out why you're different and better. And secondly, there's plenty of, just to strengthen your case in the beginning, there's plenty of regulation incoming here that you could add that would make it feel more burning than just kind of a goodwill-based setup. Thanks.
Thank you, Adrian. Annette, and then Pierre.
Well, you know that I am an investor with the biggest platform, the largest platform in the world when it comes to climate action and climate conversation. So you need to, in that point, you need to actually add customers that you have or are working together with, that you are giving a really, really great value to them, because like Adrian said, this is a very, very explosive area of what to measure and how to measure and when to measure and what to report and who would actually be the real end user, if it's me who's purchasing the product or if it's the company in itself that is actually understanding what their value are in their company. So it's super tricky environment, but explosive and really fascinating. So the more information you add and the competition you can crush, the better, of course, it is.
Thank you so much, Annette. Any last minute thoughts from anyone else?
Yes. So
very quick ones, and then
Yes. So as Adrian said, I know for sure you are not alone. So when you say that you are the first, it signals that you don't know about your competition. So I would say search for your competition, because there is a lot of competition out there. So do that for your own sake. Secondly, your finances, 3-year revenues to 3.2 million euros. It's simply too insignificant for any VC or also angel to invest in. So you must have higher financial ambitions and show that you will reach further there.
Thank you so much. Any last minute really thought from Marco?
No, just taking my time to thank the panelists and the jury. I think it's really valuable feedbacks there. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Marco. We move to our next startup. I'll share my screen now again. So Henrik, you're next with free pads.
Hi everyone, we are Free Pads and our goal is to make free sanitary pads available to everyone who needs it. Period poverty is a real thing and an issue for a lot of women. 1 of 10 females can't afford a sanitary pad, and because of that they have had to ask or borrow a pad. 1 of 10 has had to improvise sanitary wear, and 49% of 14 to 21-year-olds have missed the whole day of school because of that. We think that it should not be a privilege to get to buy sanitary pads. Because of that, we have found a way to make the sanitary pads available for everyone. How, you ask? By putting advertisement on the sanitary pads. Who doesn't love to promote their business on a whole new scale, on a huge location base, and for women all over the country or city? And what is even better, by putting their ads on the pads, they contribute in making every woman feel better and safer knowing they have an opportunity to get sanitary pad when most needed. How does it work? The cover of the sanitary pad is an unused advertising space in our eyes. So we sell advertisement on the pads, and that will cover our expenses on products and printing. Our dispensers will be in public places, sports centers, schools, you name it. And with huge location base, we can even target the audience. Places who allow us to put dispensers in their facility will get pads for free and don't have to pay for anything. The locations and advertisers will receive meaningful impressions. It seems like a win-win situation for everyone. In our eyes, the next steps will be growing our team and hire a salesperson to communicate with possible clients. We have done the research for the printing prices, pad prices, and will need to order a bigger quantity for better price in front. We will want to change simple plastic dispensers for touchscreen ones eventually, so we could scale the advertisement area. Let's make a change together by normalizing free sanitary products. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. Andrew, I already see you.
Yeah.
And I think for interest of time, we'll maximum go with 3 feedbacks per startup, and then the next ones can take the next startup. So Andrew, you, then Malcolm, and then Per.
Okay, I think first of all, it's a really interesting idea. Although what I'm thinking is that more people see the machine than see the actual packages. So I would be maybe stressing a bit more the advertising on the machine itself, because then everybody who goes past that sees it, even if they don't use it. So that alone is a great way of getting visibility. So I think that's very interesting. But what I would do though is I would have somebody look a little bit at the graphics and maybe fix the color palette a little bit, because it's a little bit distracting. And most of all, I suggest taking away the animations, because an animation that explains something can be useful. Like if you're explaining how something works or explaining some kind of transaction, an animation could be useful. But if it's purely for decoration, it's a distraction. It just disturbs people and it's not necessary. So I would suggest cleaning up all of those. But apart from that, though, I think it's a really interesting idea. And I think this is definitely something that is got some kind of a future, though I probably want to hear a little bit more about what the advertisers think. Have you been to talk to the advertisers? Let's hear a little bit more about that.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Malcolm.
Yeah, just with this one, I think one of the things that I think you're making a mistake with your product and service is that you haven't niched it. You haven't picked a target group. Women is too wide, okay? So for me, this is where I would just target a group to start with, like school-age children, and make sure that that's a target group. It'll make it much easier for you to actually build product, scale, sell this concept if you niche it down to a specific group of women, and but much better storytelling. Love the storytelling at the beginning with the statistics. I found it very impactful to hear that, you know, young women are missing school because they don't have access to these products. And when you tell a story like that, try and make it personal. Try and put it next to a face of an actual young lady, and then the emotional impact just goes through the ceiling. So niche it and ramp up emotion.
Thank you, Malcolm. Per.
Oh, you're on mute, Per. You're on mute.
Thanks. I really like your idea. And I have actually tried a very similar idea, but in another field, namely offering something for free and financing it by ads. So just to get back to what Andrew said, my sincere advice for you is just let everything else go and start with the advertisers. Check out who understands, who wants to, and who is willing to pay for advertisement on your packages, and start from there. Then they will ask you all the questions, what's your target group, etc. But start there. Don't start anywhere else.
Thank you so much, Per. We move to, yes, any last word from you?
From me? Thank you very much for the feedback, and we're going to start from there.
Awesome. Henrik, just a quick point. I've worked extensively in advertising sector myself and in marketing space. So what the feedback that panelists are giving is absolutely spot on. You also need to even micro focus on, is your target going to be social media managers? What level of marketing department you need to reach? You need to skip marketing and reach sustainability head of an organization. There are so many ways. When you talk about an organization, there are so many decision-making points within an organization. So you need to even micro-focus there and find out who is your target person over there, who would you like to test it out with. But great work. Let's move to our next pitch. We seem to be getting back on track with the time. We'll go slightly faster. So we are with We-ReUniform.
Hi, thank you so much for your audience. My name is Nives Lorenzen. I'm the CEO and founder of We-ReUniform. We-ReUniform is an initiative that seeks to collect and recirculate outgrown school uniforms. We are doing so to save parents money on buying new school uniforms. At the same time, we want to protect the environment. Today, most of the old and outgrown school uniforms are stacked in people's homes, and after a while, they are disposed of together with domestic waste, thus ending up in landfills. We are not only looking at the environmental pollution issue, but we are also considering the global trending challenges, such as the growing demand from the growing population. We are considering the supply chain challenges. We are also looking at the linear economy that is dominating the fashion and textile industry. We are targeting parents with children aged between 5 to 14 years because these are the children that outgrow their uniforms very fast. Our solution is based on circular economy. Through a subscription plan, parents can return their children's outgrown school uniforms and get the right fitting sizes. We're a team of 6 with shared values based in Uganda and in Denmark. We-ReUniform has a great potential, not only in Uganda, but in so many countries in Africa, with a culture of wearing school uniforms. Therefore, we are seeking for investors, grants to help us set up pilot projects in the 5 schools we've already identified in Uganda. And we are looking for board members too, and also experienced partners in textile circular economy. We are ready to take off, and we are looking forward to have you on board. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Emma, thank you so much for a very interesting presentation. Andrew, and then Adrian.
Yeah, very simple. I love the idea. I think that's really good, and I think it's very well done. I just have a minor issue with the slides. That there's too many words. You need to do a lot of pruning and chopping. Just put the keywords, just the minimum essential. And there's one other very minor thing about the volume level, which in my headset was too low. And there's a simple trick for fixing that. When you record something, if you're not in a professional studio that has actual measuring instruments, what you can do is just compare your volume to some kind of reference. I used to use a BBC radio reference because that I know they have highly trained engineers, therefore I knew that their level would be right. So I just made sure my podcast was the same volume as theirs, and that worked out okay in the end. And one other positive thing, I like the way that when you showed the picture of the team, you didn't say this is a picture of our team like so many people do, but you said something about it, which is good. Because the one thing you don't need to say is what people can see, because they can see it. So talking about the subject and not about the pictures is always the best plan. But great idea there.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Adrian.
Yeah, no, I agree. Very, very interesting idea. I would probably spend more time on the economics of this business, right? Since it's so economically driven, I would point out, how much cheaper is this for the end consumer, and how do we maintain the economics for the business ultimately? That there's a few pointers, and I agree also on the previous point on kind of maybe lightening up some of the slides on wording and thinking like one slide, one message kind of setup. Thanks.
Thank you, Adrian. Malcolm.
Yeah, thank you. So one of the things that I think is really important whenever you're doing something that has a charitable component to it is to make sure that you make a really strong business case, because you don't want to look like a crusader or someone who works for a charity who's asking for a donation. You want to show that this is a profitable, investable business idea. I really love that you put a roadmap slide on it so we could see where you are up to. I think that's something that's been missing from the previous pictures. It's really important for investors to know where you're up to. But my main point would be to put more about the business, a little bit more business focus in there to show how you make money, what are the profits, how is it going to function long-term as a business, so you don't get mixed up with being a charity.
Thank you, Malcolm. I think that concludes the feedback. Any points from you, Emma?
Yeah, thank you so much for your feedback. I've really taken good note of it. Just to say something about the economics, we are thinking that today the set of uniform costs $100 US, and we will be taking $50 US annually, which allows parents to come and exchange their children's outgrown uniforms. This is one model, and we are thinking that the old or worn out uniforms, we are thinking of selling it to companies that are making threads or making new textile out of old textile. That's also another way we are going to make money. And lastly, we are thinking of making other products like pencil cases, book covers, and all that, and then we'll be getting, but I'll be including that in the slides. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you.
5-second feedback. And what you do there is you have a slide. We have 3 revenue streams. We have this, we have this, we have this, and each of them, blah, blah, blah. So make sure you just make it really simple for people to understand.
Yes.
All the best to you. No more.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much for the presentation and for the feedback to the jury. We move to break the fight. I see, Taylor, you are here for the next session, which is masterclass. We might get 5 to 7 minutes late by that. So around 12:05, we'll be kicking off with that. So we move to our next pitch and we go slightly faster.
Hello, my name is Arja Tiili, and I'm presenting Break the Fight, Art Youth Work Against School Violence and Bullying. Our mission in Break the Fight is to prevent bullying and promote communal activities both in schools and during free time. The new Art Youth Work model was built for applying the Break the Fight activities to school youth work. We offer Art Youth Work complementary studies for municipal youth workers, as well as community educators, artists, and pedagogues. Break the Fight enhance social inclusion through street culture and combat discrimination and poverty through cultural activities. Break the Fight encourages to work together and to act against school violence. It provides tools to address school violence in a motivational way and gives a voice to students who need an alternative way to express themselves. Bullying happens a lot in schools. According to Youth Barometer in Finland, around 68% of school children have experienced bullying in schools. And I was one of those kids in school who was bullied. The market potential is great, as there are 306 municipalities in Finland to which we provide services. There are 51 countries in Europe, and there are 193 independent states recognized by the United Nations in the world. In all of these, there are schools and school children, and unfortunately also bullying. We are launching new complementary education package and digital selling platform for the product. The training of the BDF Art Youth Work model will be opened as an open purchase service. I thank you for having me, and if there are any questions, you're welcome to ask. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Another very interesting presentation. Malcolm.
Well, I'm probably going to say what Andrew's going to say, which is too much text. So on the slides, there's so much text on the slide, it actually distracts the listener from what you're doing. But also the order of information is really important. So tell us the situation. Start with those statistics, make them really compelling. Use an image of a child who's traumatized, like feeling bullied, whatever, and then tell us what the problem is. So the situation is this percentage of people are getting bullied, and the problem is is the current ways of addressing bullying are not working, which is why we need to use art and expression as a way of managing this problem. So think about the order of information. It doesn't help us to know what your mission is if we don't know what the situation and the problem is first. So please always start with the situation. What's the problem created out of that situation? And then what are you doing to fix it?
Thank you, Malcolm. Adrian.
Yeah, no, very important mission. So I struggle to understand what we're actually doing here in terms of like what is unique, how does the solution work, and what's kind of the unique value proposition with this solution. I think that's something I would have come through more clearly in the picture, like where the innovation is at. And ideally also how you scale that. I think there's a lot to build around digital courses and kind of cohort-based learning and those things. And I think we could that could be potentially weaved into this to have an impact also outside of Finland. Thanks.
And what you want from us, sorry for chipping in. What you actually want from us as an audience.
Okay, great. Annette.
Well, you have a lovely voice, so you should continue to use your voice because it's really, really appealing to listen to. You have a nice pitch tone and it's calm and nice. So it was a good presentation, but I agree with the people. Your ask is really the important thing. What do you want from us? What should we help you with? Understand that we only have a couple of minutes to pitch to an investor to either snag them or just lose them. And I think you lost us, even though I really know what you're doing, dancing for a better world. And I like that. So you can use taglines in a way stronger way that you've done it before. But it's important what you do. So I understand the mission.
Very quick last thought from Malcolm. Malcolm, you raised the hand again.
Yeah, I just want to just point out, just pick up on something that, was said there by Annette, which is the difference between a presentation and a pitch. Is a presentation, you just give people information, but in a pitch, you demonstrate your value and then you ask for something. You ask. So the ask has to be there for it to be a pitch. Otherwise, it's just a presentation and you're not there to present, you're there to pitch.
Thank you, Malcolm. Arya, would you like to say anything? We are short on time, so anything.
Yes. Thank you so much for your advices, and this was my first pitch, so it's very valuable information I got from you. And the ask was, yes, the ask was actually for having a funding for the pilot for 4 municipalities where we are doing a pilot for the complementary education and the purchase service model. And we have done already a product service. And yes, we're continuing with this. And yes, the ask is very important, and the order of the slides. And I'm happy that I got this information and help from you, and thank you for having
Build your pitch the same way that you would do for the municipalities, because I think that you need to go into the authorities of each municipality and ask them for funding to the project, so they actually are paying for good stuff to turn around things. This is an issue in the school world, so it's not necessarily something that I think an investor would go into, but it would be paid by and promoted from the municipalities in themselves. They should be really super proud that you want to work with them and take care of their kids.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. We move to the next page. Hold on, let me see. So Zakariae, you're next.
Hello everyone, my name is Zakariae and I'm here to present eGEN. So here's the situation. A lot of people use their bikes as the main transportation mean, but a lot of them has actually problems with their batteries, especially when they're outside. There's a high battery drainage, there are no power outlets. Most people get to use extra batteries or power banks, and that's not really good for the environment because they get to spend more money on new phones or power banks, as I said, which increases the waste, and that's not really eco-friendly if you think about it. So there is a need for a solution, and that solution has to be not only efficient, but aligned with the United Nations SDGs. So here, where we come, eGEN, we're a team of 3 people. We have Anastasia, she's the marketing mind. We have Ivan, the engineer, and we have me, Zakariae. I'm more focused on the business development side of things. So let's move on to the NABC. As I said, there's a need for lowering anxiety from low battery problem devices when we're outside. We need to reach our destinations without getting lost. We need to save energy and contribute to the eco-friendliness around us. The approach is a generator. We can talk about it a bit later in more details. Benefits are saving electricity, fitness because you have to use the bike to generate the electricity, feeling safe because you can get access to your phone all the time, less stress, and eco-friendliness, of course. Here's a glimpse on where we position ourselves within the competition map. So our idea is a generator product that provides bicyclists an accessible, healthier, and sustainable lifestyle by generating their own energy and thus charging their devices on the go in a removable, safe, and convenient way. In other words, you ride your bike, you use that kinetic energy to generate electricity, and then you charge your phone on the go. It has a lot of features. We're trying to go for weather-resistant rubber, universal phone holder, so you can charge whichever device you want. And of course, the appearance has to be appealing to you. Here are the SDGs that we're targeting. Here's the value proposition, customer segments. We focus on the B2B, of course. Thank you for your attention. Please ask us any questions you might have.
Thank you so much, Zakariae, Andrew, and Per, and Annette. Okay, 3 feedback points.
Okay, quick feedback. First of all, I think it's interesting, but there's one thing I've noticed that too many people follow templates and formulas, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they help you, but sometimes they don't. And this is one of those cases where, in my opinion, I would start by saying what you do. Like if you take that slide, what is eGEN about thing, and put that right at the beginning, even on the title slide, that's going to save a lot of messing about, because I know that the textbooks say you should begin with a statistic or you should begin with an anecdote, but sometimes it's actually a lot better just to come straight out and say, we make a thing where you charge your phone by riding your bike. And everybody gets that. Then you just need to say how much money you want, and it's all over. So that is the thing that really sticks out in my mind.
Thank you, Andrew. Per.
Yes, and I add on to that. I agree. So I'm still a bit puzzled whether you actually charge phones, and that's what you do, or if it's some kind of assistance to more bike propulsion from the generators, which it could be. But I'm not certain. And why? Because you started with identifying a problem, which was related to the problems people have when biking e-bikes. So that doesn't really relate to phone charging. So I'm still totally puzzled. So you have to look at that. Secondly, your slide flipping, I guess you have like 35 slides here or something, and you flip slides in a tempo that a human can't take in all the information on those slides. So do reduce your slides by 70% at least. Those are my advice to you. But stay on and good luck and go for it.
70%. We can take one more. Annette, you were first. We'll go with you. Welcome next time.
Oh, sorry, Malcolm. All right. So really interesting what you're doing, because now we're getting into hardware, and that's where I really like to invest. And I want to hear more about the innovation rather than the human's health. So if you have a solution that you can add on to an e-bike, for example, because I'm an e-biker, I would be really excited to see what the innovation actually is. If you have patented it, how far you are in your development, how much you're doing it, and blah, 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 all that stuff. Don't forget to add that, because now it becomes like oh yeah, by the way, here's the thing. And there it looks like a thread holder or something like that. I don't know if that's going to be the value, but can I generate energy to my bike when I'm riding my e-bike? I don't care about the phone. Well, I care about the phone, but you see my point is that you can actually charge your bike while you're biking. That's also a thing that you could do. And why won't you do that? So, but otherwise, instead of, here's the slide of our mission, read the mission. But otherwise, I think it's exciting. So go for it. You have a lot of energy, so that's fun.
Thank you so much, Annette. Malcolm, I hope you and I don't get into a fight for not having you on this.
I put my feedback in the chat.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, we move to our second last one, and then to the last one. No, Zakariae, you still have some time to say something. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for the great feedback. You guys have a lot of good points in there. I mean, the amount of slides was too much, and I thought that people would have the chance to pause the video. That's why I was going a bit faster through them. But yes, I agree with everything you said. And just to finalize the idea, it's not related to e-bikes. It's just a generator that you put in the front wheel of the normal bike, and then you use that kinetic energy to charge your devices. Basically, that's the idea. But I should have focused more on the product rather than follow the templates or the NABC model, or yeah. But thank you for
this is what it's for. You're here to learn, so go for it.
Yes.
You're going to be better next time.
It is so good to pitch early, make mistakes early, get feedback, get better. It's great, man. You're awesome. Go for it.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. We go ahead with our next pitch. So I'll invite Annabel now. We're starting with your pitch.
Hi, we are Womco, and we're making female-fitting food. Did you know that 85% of women suffer from hormonal imbalances? These are symptoms that affect women's daily lives: energy levels, stress, sleep, body temperature, emotions, cognitive functions, and more. But these symptoms are not addressed. However, at Womco, we found an opportunity, leveraging 20 years of scientific research advancing the food-hormone connection. This research fits our market and our customers because 80% of women said they are ready to start adapting their nutrition in order to improve their hormonal health. And this is why we created Womco, the first science-backed personal nutrition app for women in a simple 4-step solution: profile assessment, cycle analysis, personalized nutrition, and symptoms tracking. Womco is freemium with a basic personalized nutrition and a premium in-depth hormone testing and analysis version. We're looking at a total UK femtech market of $10 billion. Womco is a consumer app focusing on the hormonal health subsector, from which we aim to capture a 20% market share, which is worth over $400 million in the UK only. Our team is made of bioengineering, PhD and MBA students, together with certified nutritionists and excellent entrepreneurial advisors. We won the Olam Ventures Accelerator program. Then we built our product, and we're now running our 1-month private beta before officially launching our app in the UK in January. So what's next for Womco? We're raising a 500K pre-seed to include hormone testing, data integrations, and food delivery APIs. We're aiming for 5,000 women users within the first year. And then we're expanding to 2 other health verticals, pregnancy and menopause, to triple our market size. Womco can create personalized precision nutrition for any woman at any stage of their hormonal health. Join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Annabel. Who would like to go first? Annette, and then Malcolm, and then Andrew. Yes.
Thank you so much for your presentation, and thank you everyone for your presentations. Really fast and very informational. I understood everything that you're working for. This is a very, very tricky space to get into the women's sort of vertical, because it's huge, doesn't mean that it's easy. And hormonal balance, we know that that comes and goes, and it comes actually into a certain time when you actually need to have collaborations with doctors and gynecologists and stuff like that for the health challenge. So I think that if you will, with the nutritionists and all the other ones that you're doing, you need to have supplement market that you can add on. There's a lot of things that you can add into it. I suggest you to work on a really, really good pilot at a larger hospital to see where you actually have different verticals, so you can do your beta and then have them pay for it, because this is a health issue for everyone. And I think it's also for men, because they also have more hormonal imbalances, of course, even though we're screaming more about it because it hurts us in another way. So, but I think you need to, I mean, overall, anything that has with human health is like understated, so it needs to be taken care of. But really, really good way of starting it. Thank you so much for presenting. Very interested to see if you have any patents or if you have anything that is sort of specialistic for you, so we can see if we could actually do it.
Thank you, Annette. Malcolm.
Yeah, great pitch. Best pitch of the day so far. Really clear, well done, nice slides, everything's great. What I would say though is I think you need to niche your product to people who like to have natural solutions to their health. So you know, I would be pitching this to many people do not want to take hormonal supplements and pharmaceutical drugs. They want to use natural, solutions for their health. So I would be really thinking about how can we niche this towards people who are already taking those kinds of solutions for their health. So sort of taking on the holistic health market and bringing it into the women's hormonal area. So for me, I would just say I would really think about really niching this, because women's just too wide. That is not a category. You have to have a niche, which is women, and then you have to have a sub niche. So it's women 35 to 25 to 40, whatever it is, period health, or you do women 45 to 60, menopausal health, whichever one it is, but double niche this. Find an age group and then a problem you're solving. Otherwise, too hard, too wide.
Thank you, Malcolm. Andrew, and then Adrian, short ones.
Okay, visually, I think the presentation was great. Very clean, simple slides, good mock-ups coming at the right time. I especially like that building with the mock-ups. The business models, the market data, and everything was all presented very clearly. But the most interesting part for me was something else in the delivery, and that was the pacing. Now, this is actually very unusual, that most people either vary the speed too much, or they get too fast, or they slow down. But you managed to keep the same pace all the way through, almost like there was a click track in the background or a metronome. So that was very impressive, and that made it very easy to follow. Very clear, very simple, and very sort of rhythmic, which is very, very powerful.
Thank you, Andrew. Adrian.
Yeah, no, very quickly. So I think great pitch. Probably in this pitch and for the next round, investors are going to be very paranoid with the retention and usage for these kind of consumer apps. So make sure you kind of start tracking that already, and make sure that you have a good kind of narrative around your retention stats and metrics when you go and raise the next round. So just to help you see around the corner a bit. Thanks.
Malcolm, you're back.
So much. Can I answer quickly?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for the feedback. And quickly to touch upon, so yes, Annette, we do have a lot of partnerships, ideas and plan. We have our proprietary database made with nutritionists, and we're now also collaborating with more nutritionists, a women's health clinic. So yes, as you said, that's a very important point, having this larger expert team together with medical experts supporting what we're doing. Malcolm, thank you so much as well for your question. So yes, we are, of course, thinking about the many things you said, and I don't have so much time to answer everything, but we are, we can't wait to use the beta feedback and the traction and so on to then launch, and I'm sure everything you said will be very value adding for us as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Annabel. And that was Womco. Fabrice, you're next, and we have recouped, I think, like 5-6 minutes. So we now have around 7 minutes for the last segment. So Fabrice, I'll play your pitch, and then we can have feedback from our jury.
Hi everyone, my name is Fabrice Marie. I'm a former professional tennis player and a coach today. The Dome Sweden is a 3.5 hectares multi-sport arena located in the park, aiming to increase access to physical activity in the Stockholm region for everyone, regardless of social background, ethnicity, and sporting ability. The smart city of Stockholm attracts professionals to work, live, and start families. The population is expected to reach 2.5 million by 2024. They will all need more services, including sport facilities. We've identified 4 main challenges. There's a 20-year-old lack of sports facilities in the region. The escalating deadly violence caused by criminal gangs. 48 people have so far been shot dead in Sweden in 2022. The poor integration of migrant minorities in the society, which have created parallel societies. And last, the children, girls, and women need to affirm their place in the society. It is a core priority of the Swedish government. Let's have an impact on our future, because the future is now. The Dome Sweden offers 63 courts of mixed racket sports, plus fitness, well-being, various amenities, a conference center, a restaurant, and Medicare facilities. It is a fully sustainably built and eco-friendly. We bring the community together through sports programs adapted to all members, helping with social integration, education, and improving mental and physical well-being. We host to organize international sports competition and cultural events. The goal of the arena is to become a preferred place for people to thrive in sports, in socializing, and learning community life values. Lastly, the Dome Sweden team is composed of former tennis players, as myself and Ingrid, a lawyer, the Japanese architect of the Dome, and a panel of advisors. Thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Fabrice. Just a background, you have been at it for some time. Awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
Per and then Malcolm.
Yes, so my first question is similar as we had in another case here, and that is, what do you actually want from us? Why do you present this to us, and what do you want from us? And maybe you should answer that first before letting in other comments, because this is kind of crucial here. So what can we do for you, Fabrice?
Hi, good morning. Thank you very much for the question. What do I want? I've been working on that project parallelly with my with me looking at what's happening in Stockholm, the conditions, the four main challenges that I've exposed are increasing every day. And what do I want from a panel of investors? We are looking for money now. It's a big project. It's going to be placed on 3.5 hectares. The actual dome is going to be 28,000 square meters. It's forecasted to cost probably $150 million. So it's a long project, just seeking for the land, seeking for the right partners, the right construction company. The first phase is probably budgeted at $500,000 US dollars in order to start to have a team of consultants. I do have now in place a team of consultants, and I don't have money. I've been at it, as Nemo was saying, I've been at it for about 5 years now. It's not really easy because I live and work in London. I travel to Stockholm.
Fabrice, I'm just going to jump in because I don't want you to lose, the opportunity to get the feedback you need. So I think, Per's got the information that he wants. But I think one of the problems the challenges that I have with the pitch is that you're promoting it as a sporting arena, but then you're trying to pitch all of these societal problems and everything you're going to change through this. So I think you need to make it, you need to think about your branding, and that your branding has to match your mission. So if your mission is to make a social impact for immigrants' culture in Sweden, you need to call it, the Dome, the Cultural Impact Center of Sweden. And then inside that, you're using sports, cultural meeting rooms, whatever. So you've got to actually match your mission and the branding and the messaging together. Because right now you're telling me you're building a sporting arena and you're going to solve the gang problem. And it's just too big. It's not credible. It's not a credible pitch. All right. So you need to actually really think about how you could rebrand how you're pitching it right from the beginning. The Dome, the Cultural Integration Center of Sweden, or the Cultural Sporting Integration Center of Stockholm, something like that, so that the whole storytelling can come together in a more credible way.
Yeah, I would say.
One second, Fabrice. So it's exactly that. So the impression you give me, and it's not your intention, but you have to work on it. The impression you give me is that we have to solve a number of societal problems amongst primarily low-income people with low education and a lot of problems, and we solve it by, an upper-class solution. And I don't get it together. So you have to work on. You don't have to answer it now. Just make sure that it aligns.
But why is it an upper class? It's not an upper class. It is open to everyone.
Sure, I say that's the impression I get from it.
Okay, all right. I would say in this, like somebody else said, in the 2-minute presentation that I've put up, it is very difficult. If I would send you,
okay, but just stop. Just stop for a second. So you're getting feedback now.
Yeah.
From people who are experts in pitching, and so we know it's difficult, but we listen to hundreds of 2-minute pitches every year, each of us, and we're telling you what you need to do. So
I'll put that on board.
So it's not that you don't have a good idea. We're telling you you need to take your good idea and your good intention and marry that messaging together in a better way.
Right.
Now, Per's impression is feedback that you need to take on, because if his impression is, you know, you have this like high foot, like, I don't know, I call it first world solution to this challenge, that is something for you to take on and then manage in the pitch as an objection, okay? So you think about, you know, I always tell people, make a list of 50 objections and be ready to manage them and see how many that you could manage inside the pitch. Yeah?
Right. No, I totally agree. And it's on board. It's in here.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Fabrice. Thank you so much for the panelists, for all these amazing pitches. Everyone, have a very, very good day. We'll move to our next segment now. So we can say thanks to all the panelists and all the amazing startups.
All the best, Fabrice. It's going to be a great
Thank you very
initiative.
much. All the best.
Awesome.
Ciao.
Ciao.